Hey everybody, what's going on? We're live. Let's get everybody a second to get on here. Captain's tripping up the stairs. Mary's in the warm water. We're ready to go. We need a sound check, please. And everyone, please comment where you are watching from. All right, one person on there. Who will be on first with the sound check? Today's sort of a fun day. Well, we'll get you up to speed in a second. Sound is great, perfect. I'm assuming that's Kayla. Hello, hello. All right. So you can see Mary's chilling out. Watching from a swim spot in Fort Wayne, definitely Kayla.
Oh, nice.
Mama, hello. So everybody, my mother's swim spa is literally coming in on Saturday. Electrician is coming Saturday, but we're not gonna fill it till after the electrician is done because you know why. All right. So today is sort of an interesting day for us. I'll give it another second. Life happens, and when someone has a swim spa delivered or a hot tub delivered, they tend to get crazy if something is wrong with it or something doesn't go right. So when we did that little blurb that you guys might have seen posted, you may have noticed we didn't put the hoses in the filter spouts or the filter holes to fill this swim spa. And I actually wanted an airlock, but we couldn't get one. We tried. So we actually tried to get an airlock so that we could have taken you through clearing it and shown you that it's not really that big a deal, but people tend to lose their minds. Guys, you know what? Life is not perfect. Swim spas and hot tubs are as close to perfect as we can get, but life happens. So for example, should we take them through our day today?
Yeah.
We've got half of our cardio equipment is down, so I'm gonna pan to right there. Super Tech, Matt, you can wave, Matt, is here fixing half of our equipment is broken. The dog loves him, which I wasn't sure how that was gonna go, but Captain thinks that the sun comes up because Matt wants it to, which is awesome, so we don't have to listen to him bark. And then in July, the gas. Yeah. In July, the gas company was doing work on the street and they shut our meter off and put a lockout in it. The bill is paid and they didn't turn it back on. So we tried to put the heat on today. We have no heat. Half our cardio equipment is down. The swim spot was empty yesterday. That's life. So we're just going to address it all. And if you think that you're alone, and I had surgery yesterday also.
Actually, I think you need to press it down on the...
Oh, is the flap coming off? Okay. So if you think you're alone in things being messy, you are not. We're messy. Okay, so I'm going to spin this around. We couldn't get an airlock for you. We tried. That would have been amazing to do that. And actually, I'm going to tell the whole story. When this swim spa is new, we actually had a leak in it. They're made in Fort Wayne. They're not made in heaven. And so we filled it. Actually, let's address things that can happen.
Sure.
Let's go like raw. This is what really happens in real life. This swim spa was wet tested and then put over to R&D for some testing and different things at Master Spas, then came to us. We wet it and there had been water in it, so we had some algae in the jets. And it came out, and honestly, it might have been the most I've ever seen after a wet test or a previously wet unit. And that's normal. It happens. You just shock it and kill all that stuff. It's not a big deal, but it came out quite a bit. But we found a little leak. So we drained it down, and then yesterday was the refill. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to see if we could create an airlock so we could take you through that, talk about, a real situation that everyone would have really benefited from. But we'll keep trying. Every time we fill one, I'll try to get it to airlock. Now, what's interesting is that...
The first time we did it, we got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so what's interesting is that at home, I have a pool company come to my house and fill it with a truck. And it's a 4-inch hose. You cannot put it in the filter, so you have no choice. And I've never had an airlock there. And then here, we did get one once, but this time we tried to recreate it. We couldn't quite get it. That would have been fun. I'm going to pan to you.
It's supposed to help.
There you go. It's on you.
In the filter?
Yes. So you put the hose in the filter,
okay,
and then it reduces the possibility. It doesn't, nothing is foolproof,
right,
but it reduces the opportunity for an airlock. And would have been interesting to do that on the live. We'll keep trying. So that'll be fun. Okay, so we're filled, we're at the right level, everything is working. Now,
So just keep in mind, you don't have to flip to me, but
it's on you.
it was wired already.
Yep.
The breaker was off.
Yep.
And we filled it. And then once it was full to where where the safe level is, we turned the breaker on and started heating it up.
Yep.
So that was our process. Did you put any chemicals in initially?
I did. No, initially, no,
Okay.
nothing. So I'm going to pan it back to me. Okay, so everybody asks, and in our Facebook group, everybody asks, can I start filling it with water before the electrician gets there? And half the people say yes, and half the people say no. The people who say no, who are in this industry, are saying no because they have a reason. The people who are homeowners and are saying yes only because on the 1 or 2 or 3 times that they did it, they didn't have a problem. Okay, so their viewpoint is somewhat limited compared to how many fill-ups we've seen. I've seen thousands. I've done many myself. So the whole thing is that if there's a problem, so a lot of times we'll see, you see a pattern. Everything is a pattern. We'll see, maybe the neutral is wired backwards on the GFCI. We see that from time to time. So the electrician has to come back. So if the electrician can't get there for 2 days, you'll have stagnant water sitting in that swim spa. If the electrician gets a flat tire on his way to come to your house, you'll have that water sitting there. I have had multiple people who filled prematurely had to dump that water. This is almost 2,000 gallons of water. It's a shame to dump that. Just wait a minute, okay? I know you're excited. I know you want to fill it. Let the electrician test it, bump it, say you're safe, ready to go, then fill it. It's just, it will always work if you do it that way. You'll never have an issue, and we've seen issues, okay? Can it work the other way? Yeah, if everything goes right. But what if something goes wrong? In my life, well, as today, if today was any indication, things are always a little bit of a challenge. Always works out because we're diligent and hardworking, but there are always bumps in the road. There are always bumps in my road, okay? So we filled it up. Like Mary said. That's our breaker there. It's inside. This is a demo unit. It's not 5 feet away. We're fine. And we filled it up, flipped the breaker, and what did we set the? Oh yeah, 97 degrees. Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Okay. So then yesterday water came in. It was about 50 degrees, and we didn't do anything to the water. Or was that Monday?
Monday.
Jeez, I lost a whole day.
We did it Monday, so
That's
that
right.
it would be warm.
It would be warm today. Right, that's right. So Monday we filled up, didn't do anything. Tuesday I checked it in the morning before my little surgery there. I didn't add anything. It was at 74, 75 degrees. And then this morning came in. I didn't even measure the chlorine I put in.
Yeah.
I literally turned the top of the tub over, put some chlorine in it, and dumped it in. It was a complete guess. But I have test strips here, and we're going to see how I did. Live on the live. Mary, if you want to come hold this camera.
Sure.
There you go. Test strips. Which ones do we have here?
We just have the ones.
Leisure time. This is what we got. Okay, so let's kind of turn it this way. Let's see how Ben did with his guesstimate on the chlorine. Now, we do know, because I know our water, we do know sometimes you'll have your pH and your alkalinity right when it comes in from the hose or from the truck or whatever. It's just crazy. We know that ours is you'll learn your water. We've said that before. I know here that the alkalinity and pH is going to be dead on without even doing anything to it. So I'm comfortable just adding some chlorine when it's up to temperature. I have no concern over it, but we'll see if I was right again. All it is I just happen to know this water and its tendencies. Okay. Okay, so we're maybe a little high in the chlorine. Probably 4. It's definitely not 5. Might be 4, 3.5, 4. It's supposed to be 1 to 3. I'm comfortable with that. Let's see, alkalinity is perfect. It's right in the okay zone. I'm gonna call that pH perfect. And then I'm gonna call that total hardness. Could use a little bit of hardness increaser. That's it, but it's on there, it's close.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So for our first whack, it's in great shape.
So Ben, do you want to just address what to do if you know, talking about knowing your water, if you know that you have high metal in your water?
Okay.
You know, a lot of people have hard
absolutely.
water.
A lot of times with us, I mean, we're always moving stuff around. We're a little less concerned. We know that this is city water, I almost said well, is excellent. So we don't even run a sequestering agent in here. On city water, you certainly can. If you know that it's hard, you're welcome to. On a well, you must run that sequestering agent, okay? It's strongly suggested, and it will strip that junk out of there. So you would fill this up and put that sequestering agent right in, and it's half a bottle for a swim spa. That's the guide that I always use. Someone may correct me and say, it's supposed to be 10 ounces per, save that, do whatever you want to do. I use half a bottle, and then, you know, this saves the second half of the bottle for the next one. So, and then you want to clean those filters out and just spray it, and it's going to strip all those metals out of there, go to the filter, and then you spray that filter out, and then the junk's out of the water. Then you're going to start treating it from there. As always, you want to start with alkalinity, then pH, then chlorine. I knew that ours was going to be pretty much dead on right out of the hose, so I didn't bother with any of that stuff.
Talk a little, or maybe switch over. You take it and switch because they can't hear you very well.
Oh, is the speaker on the front?
I don't know.
Okay. So maybe the speaker's in the front. We could turn that. Is that a little better? Can't hear. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
So maybe just reiterate if you have hard water.
Yep. I'm just reading through to see. Okay.
Those were the only two.
Gotcha. So let me know if you can't hear it now. If you can't hear it now, better? Perfect. Okay. So this is I guess the microphone's on the front now?
I don't know.
New phone. Okay. I like when people text, new phone, who dis? So, okay. Now, if your water's hard, you want to use a sequestering agent, all right, you're going to put that in there. We knew that ours wasn't, and I knew that our alkalinity and pH is going to be pretty much dead on, so I just went for chlorine when it was up to temperature. The sound froze for a second, but it's good. Weird. It's probably our Wi-Fi.
So
amazing after today, amazing that it works, because nothing else is.
If you have to put sequestering agent in, how often should you rinse your filters out that first week or two?
So what I would do is, if I was running well water, which on that front, I mean, this is 2,000 gallons. I don't think I would run any well, no matter how great the water was. I don't recommend, no plumber would recommend running 2,000 gallons through a well unless you have some super well, because it's just a lot of wear and tear on your well pump compared to what a well pump costs versus bringing a truck in with perfect clean water for a pool. No brainer for me. I would never even try it. But if you are in a hot tub, it's totally different. Absolutely. So the sequestering agent, and then you want to clean that filter, once a day for 2 or 3 days. That's it. That's all it needs. And that junk is stripped right out of there. Then, of course, go alkalinity, then pH, and then chlorine. Okay. And then, so what I'm doing here is I've added a little more shock to my program than I always had. Michael smile when he hears that. So, we're going to shock it, once a week, something like that, a little bit of chlorine each day, and the water's fine. This unit has Master Pure. So let me spin this around so you can see it. So right in front of Mary's right foot, right there, that is the discharge for the Master Pure and Circ pump. So this one, we don't need to be setting the filter cycles on here, but you can set them right in here. I'll just get to it, hit filter, and then those are your cycles. So this is set for filter 1 is 2 hours, and then filter 2 is also 2 hours later on. So it's set for 4 hours. Now this one doesn't run because we have the Circ pump, but that's where you're going to want to set that.
Is that what you recommend on this?
2 and 2? If you're having an issue, you can always turn it up. This will do 24 hours. So if you're having an issue, your water got murky and you need more filtration, you can always turn it up. I don't think I've ever had ours on more than maybe 6 or 8. I think the only time I've ever turned it to 24 is when we were fighting something or we were gone for 2 weeks and the water came back and we were a little murky. Because in here, it fills our city water is amazing. So we'll just dump half the water out and refill it if we need to, because we travel so much. It's really weird schedule. And most of the time we're good about remembering to load it up before we go, so it's safe. But we never turn the temperature down. It's always the same, always run it the same way, okay? So anyone has any questions on this?
One of the things that comes up when you first, and it just happened today on our panel here, it says error and it says set the time.
Right, it's not an
So
error.
it's not really an
Yeah.
error, but it's very easy. Just the way Ben showed you how to go to the settings for the filter
Actually, you want to see it?
settings, you do the
do
same
it.
thing for the time.
Yep.
It's really easy,
So now you do want to set your time, okay?
especially if you're setting filter cycles.
Exactly, because a lot of places, this is a good tip, and a lot of our people do this. And if you're not familiar with this, in the master owners group, pretty savvy people in there, but you can set your filter cycles to run in the middle of the night where your electrical rate is cheaper, and you save yourself quite a few dollars. So it works real well. Okay, so we got a question here from David. Will your chlorine use more when the temp is higher, say 100 versus 95? Yes, absolutely. The higher the temperature, the more consumption you will have with chlorine and chemicals. Okay? Although I will tell you, I mean, it's not super duper significant in my experience, because the one at home right now is 100 or 101, I think. Beth, you can pop on there. And this one is 97, so we're keeping them high. Okay. Okay, I don't know if you can read me. Anna or Anna? I can read you. Did you have a question in there? Oh, in what position should I put the filters? So you want the EcoPures all the way forward, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, EcoPure all the way forward, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see, sound is good. Yes. Yeah, check that. Let's see. That's the EcoPure in the front, right?
Yes.
Yep, EcoPure in the front one, closest to the swim.
Closest to the swim.
Okay. All right. Questions. What do we got? 100. Beth chimed in there. 100 is nice. You know, and it's funny, we talk about this all the time. You've been in a hot tub where you're sitting down and, you know, it's one thing to sit there in that 100 degree, 101 degree water, but in a swim spa, when you're moving through that much water, the feel of it, you know, is amazing. It's totally different, but it is highly suggested. What an amazing feeling, okay? All right. Okay, Mayor, what you got? We don't have any questions today, so we're just talking about startup. So what happens, Mary, take us through the technical end of this. What happens if we have an airlock? Go.
So you'll notice like the water isn't coming out of the jets when you have an airlock, and it makes a funny sound, like it's blocked essentially. I think that would be a good way to describe it. And obviously nothing's coming out of when you turn the jet button on. Nothing's coming out of the jets. Either when you turn the diverter valve, it's not working to come out of the hot tub seat jets or the swim spa jets. So what you want to do is you want to basically toggle the diverter valves. So you would turn on pump 1, and if it's locked, if it's making that noise and there's no water coming out of the jets, but it sounds like it's running, you want to start turning the valve back and forth. Not just, it doesn't have to be really fast, just back and forth, and it'll start to release the air, and then all of a sudden your jets will come up.
But not always. But it is the easiest way to get lucky if you have an airlock.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then if you turned on jets 2 and the same thing happened, you would go to the other diverter valve and try the same thing. Just try toggling or adjusting the valve back and forth until you get that air moving and open up that lock.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically what's happening here is, I turn it back onto me.
Yep.
You're trying to burp a baby. It's simple as that. It's as simple as burping a baby. And when you say that, people who know nothing about hot tubs go, oh, well, that makes sense. It's exactly what it is. You hit those diverters back and forth, you might get lucky. Certain hot tubs, you can take a plunger and get right in there straight down from the top, and that has worked many times.
From the filter?
From the filter, like on a Twilight or a Legend, you have it's a straight down shot with that, and you have an airlock, and it has worked. The 900s used to be pump 3 we used to see, and I always used to do it on there. It worked great. Let's see. Anna has a Challenger 19. We have a Challenger 19 right there. And we hid Captain's loudest, squeakiest toy on the top so that he couldn't get it. Okay, please, how can I clean the jets and the other ones? All right. So, Anna, I'm going to need you to be way more...
What are the other ones?
I don't know what the other ones are. Picture you were on my end reading that question. I don't know what you mean. Please, how can I clean the jets? We don't really clean the jets. What?
If you want to clean them, or even the fixtures, or if you have any kind of water line on your shell, or you're just trying to shine things up, we have found that the Windex vinegar cleaner, which is a clear
Oh, I can show it. We have it.
cleaner
You wanna
by
hold that?
Windex. We are not sponsored by Windex, but
It's facing
it
you.
works amazingly.
It's like a
I
close up
know.
on your face.
Okay, I'll turn this around. Thank you, Ben. The Windex vinegar cleaner with a Mr. Clean Magic Erase works really well on the jets, on the fixtures, on anything that has that stainless. Sorry to be so up close. Here it is.
Our favorite product.
It works really, really well. We've shared it with other people, and they also share our enthusiasm for it.
Susan's a big fan.
But it works very well for cleaning your jets. It's safe for the shell. It is, it has a really nice clean smell, and it works really well.
Yep. And it's not so harsh that it's like, I don't love vinegar. It doesn't stink. It's actually nice, but works fantastic for cleaning. If you're talking about cleaning the inside of the jets, a whole different conversation, and I would ask why they need cleaning. Maybe there's something else we need to talk about, but I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, Anna. Okay, so if you want to articulate that and ask something with a little more detail, we can do our best to answer for you. Okay, we can also hop back on there tonight. Okay, so questions. What do you got? Anyone? Let me look through here. So you'll see, I saw someone comment about a vacuum. That down there, that's dirt. It's dirt, and that's on a swim spa what you want to use that vacuum for, okay? And that's exactly what it is. So at home I have the little rechargeable, the Intex. It's an Intex rechargeable one. So easy. I mean, I think I paid $60 for it on Amazon. It works great. You can't even hear it. You turn it on, put it under the water, it just sucks that stuff right up. We also have this one that you put your thumb over the end and you push it down, and then when you let off, it fills with water, and it, that one, too much of a pain. Okay, Virginia, I have a jet that isn't working on the right-hand side, not a jet, but the whole system is not blowing. I guess that's a see more. Of course, I can't press the stupid button, Mary. So Virginia, in order for me to see the rest of the question, I have to fat finger it. And I got it. I guess that's what you're talking about if you get lucky. Not a jet, but the whole system is not blowing. You could either have a diverter valve turned in the wrong direction, or it could be an airlock. So if you might get lucky if it's the diverter valve and it's an airlock. I've had it work out a few times. So I'm not sure if a lot of times people don't really understand which controls do what. So if half of something is not working, it is often simply turning one of the big valves to get the water pointed in the right direction. We see that daily. There's a lot of knobs on here, so it takes a little bit of learning to get that done. If it's an airlock, you won't have water flow
On
either side when you turn that diverter valve. So you know what? Maybe we should start this up.
Yeah.
That's VSP2, I think. Let's put on VSP2 on medium. Okay. Now turn it, Mary.
It's not.
So it's 1.
it?
Yeah, I always forget. Yeah, you're fine. Okay. So, what we mean, so the big one that Mary's got her hand on, that's a diverter valve. So,
and this is for VSP.
yep, one in a Challenger 15. So right now, you'll see the water moving there. And then when she turns that, the water comes out over here. And then that one does VSP2, the one on the left does VSP2, and the seat that Mary's sitting on. So that's what I mean. A lot of times it's a little confusing at first which way the diverter points the water. Okay? All right, let's turn that off.
So if you had an airlock,
you wouldn't have water on
wouldn't
either
come
side.
out of the seat or the swim jet.
Exactly. So if you turned on pump 1 or VSP 1 or whatever and you were on the correct diverter valve, it wouldn't be coming out of either place if it was airlocked. Okay, if you get a little out of one side, then you want to start toggling back and forth and you might get lucky and clear it. Otherwise, all you have to do is, a technician should probably do it. If you had to do it yourself, I've walked people through it on the phone. All you're going to do is loosen up the union on the pump that's affected until water starts coming out. You're not taking it all the way off or you'll have a gusher. You're just loosening it so the water starts trickling out, and then when you'll hear it kind of burp, and then you tighten it back up.
If that makes no sense to you, then you should definitely call
Yeah,
the
if that
service.
doesn't make sense to you, call service. Good, yeah, exactly. If that doesn't make sense to you, call for service and they'll come right out. They're usually very fast on a situation like that on a brand new install. Okay, so Virginia, I'm not sure I helped with that. So first thing is figure out if there's an airlock or it's just a diverter valve. Maybe you don't fully grasp which one's pointing where. Either are something we see, fairly frequently. What does the chlorine shock do when you add it? So, David, do you mean chlorine dichlor or do you mean shock like oxidizer? So I use a non-chlorine shock and chlorine, so they're two separate items. So you're mixing both. It is possible that you have a chlorine shock. So I would use the chlorine shock after, all it's going to do is chlorinate the water. It's going to grab onto any yuckies in the water, grab it, put it in the filter, and then clean that water and sanitize and kill stuff. That's what all of it's doing. I'm just not sure if you're using chlorine or a chlorine shock or a non-chlorine shock. Okay, there's lots of confusing names for those products. All right, we just got our swim spot 2 weeks ago and having trouble adjusting chemicals. Should I work on the pH first as it's high? Stephanie, I'm talking right to you. Let me get my finger just does not get to see more. I don't know what my problem is. There's something wrong with my finger. I'm pressing this like 10 times. There it is, got it. Should I work on pH first as it's high or chlorine as it's low? Okay, Stephanie, alkalinity first, A is first in the alphabet, then pH, then chlorine. So A, P, C. Make sure your alkalinity is set first because nothing else matters until you do that. Then pH, and unless those are in order, the chlorine is not going to do what it's supposed to do. So you have to start A, then P, then C, okay? And also you want to turn the filtration up and give it a minute in between because people just sort of have this, and mind you, you're talking to the most impatient human ever. But people they put the chemical in and they want it to work like that. It needs some time. It's a lot of water, okay? All right. The cleanup cycle should be at 0.50 question mark, Anna? I don't use any of that cleanup cycle. And I don't know what you mean. All right. Let's see. Virginia, unfortunately I have an H2X Trainer 12 and it's not as nice as that one. What are you talking about?
Oh,
I love the Trainer
that's
12.
awesome.
Yeah, don't be, that's sad. Don't say that. The Trainer 12 is, let me tell you something. When the 15-footer didn't exist, you had the number one seller in the world was the Trainer 12, then the Trainer 19, and then the Trainer 15 came out and kind of, split right down that middle. That Trainer 12 is an amazing machine, okay? Everything you need in it and nothing that you don't. I have no problem with the Trainer 12. Let's see. The non-chlorine shock. Okay, David, non-chlorine shock, what that's doing is it's oxidizing. So chlorine kills and non-chlorine shock oxidizes the junk out. Chlorine kills the stuff, oxidizing gets rid of it. Okay, that's why you need to have that cover off, put the oxidizer in there, and it's bubbling and oxidizing that crap off into the air. Okay? The knobs aren't as nice. All right, Virginia, I like your knobs. I don't. That sounded terrible. Wait, we have a visitor. What are you doing, young man? Hello, beautiful boy. You're being so good. All right. So, okay, what else do we have? Mike Wright, what's happening? Tim Beal, Tim, what's happening? Good to see everybody. Okay, keep the questions coming. Let's see. Dave, does that make sense? Chlorine kills, shock gets rid of. All right, let's see what else we got. 4:30, we're doing great on time. I read, and you guys know that when we do something stupid or wrong, that we will share it with you guys. So someone asked on the Master Spa Owners Group, can I leave the rowing kit in?
Oh.
Hang on.
We can attest.
Oh, he was resting his chin on my foot there.
That you should not.
Yes. So, Mary, you want to share why?
Sure. So, our first rowing kit, we did leave in the water.
How long did it take to go bad?
It was a while.
It was a while.
It was a while, admittedly, but we just left it because we used it. And what started happening is you have that gross grain, like the attachments, and it's like that, I don't know what it's that fabric.
Yeah.
That attaches to the row bar itself and then to like, I don't remember what other part it is right now because we've actually taken the row bars out.
If you recall, it wasn't the fabric that broke, it was the stitching that held the fabric stitched around the bar.
In these,
oh, that's right.
The fabric actually came unglued.
That's right.
From the actual metal.
So don't leave it in there.
Don't leave it in there because you do have chemicals in here. You have chlorine. You're using, an oxidizer, and that is going to affect things that are in the water.
Yep, for sure.
So we now, because we did ruin our first set of row bars, and we had to order some new ones, which you can do through your dealer. We take them out after every use. And it does take a little bit of time because you do have to drain them. You do want to drain the water from those row bars because they collect water when you're exercising, when they're in the water. So drain them, let them dry out, and it'll help with the longevity of the row bars.
Yep. Actually, I drilled that little hole. So in the I can get it. The dog's not going to let me. In the end cap, it was like a suction with water, and water would stay in there. I actually drilled a tiny little 1/8-inch hole in the rubber on the end, and now they drain right out. The water just dumps right out. It works really well. Okay, so let's see. Hours at home too, Beth. Yeah, we ruined all the row bars by leaving them in. So don't do that, okay? So you want to know how they know not to do it? We're the test dummies.
Do as we say.
Yeah, the keyword dummies. So, and luckily Susan is so nice, she just sends us new ones when we break them and doesn't give us a vigorous spanking. All right, great job, Ben and Mary. Hours at home too, and you just lay it up on the side and not in the water, the rowing kit. I wouldn't lay it on the side because then the top is not going to close correctly. I would just take them all the way out and get them, make sure they're drained out, okay? All right. This, our main man, highly trained service tech who is like just and our cardio equipment has like 1 million miles on it too. The poor kid, and the silly dog won't leave him alone. Captain, you leave him alone. Get out of his way.
I feel like maybe at the end here we should just recap.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We don't need to be that close. We just filled our swim spa, and the question, now what? People get their swim spa and they're not feeling super comfortable about what to do next. So just keep in mind we had our swim spa wired first, breaker off, filled it to the safe, the minimal, the minimal maximum level that is listed. We turned the breaker on and we set the heat. that was the first thing that we did. So we set the heat. We knew we were going to be in here, and I know that I don't like the cold, so I set it to 97 so that today it would be comfortable to get in. Initially, we have city water that is not high in metals, so we didn't put anything in the water the first
But
2 days.
we know our water.
Right.
So
and
you
again,
will
like
too.
Ben said, we've been doing this now for a few years. We know what this water is like. If you know that you have high metal in your water, then you are going to want to use a sequestering agent when you first fill it, maybe about half a bottle, would you say, Ben?
Yep.
Half a bottle. And then if you are using that, you're going to want to rinse out your filters maybe once a day for the first 2 to 3 days. We also set our time on our control panel. And if you do not have the Master Pure, that is the 24-hour circulating pump, then you'll want to set your filter cycles. They are set for twice a day, 2 hours each, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. That's the default setting. If you want to adjust that based on the price of your electrical, if you have less at night, you can have it come on, more at night, or however that works for you. But that's all done on your control panel. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. And then today, Ben put in a little bit of chlorine. He just kind of eyeballed it today.
Probably an ounce or two.
About an ounce of chlorine in here. Let it off gas a little bit before we put the covers on to get back up to temperature for today. So that is what we did. We filled it on Monday so that it would be up to temperature today. And that was our process the past couple of days since we filled the swim spa.
Cool.
A couple people have commented on it.
Okay, we'll take a peek for some questions. And I can say, in the future, maybe in the next year or two, some really neat stuff coming down the pipeline. We've got a peek at some things. I can't really give much more than that. Some are on the accessory front and directly related to swim spas, so I can tease with that. I don't think I can get in trouble for saying that because it's so vague and unhelpful in every way, which is my specialty. So let's check for questions here. Do I have any questions? Is Mary going to demonstrate swimming in the spa? Does she use fins or snorkel? That's from Stephanie.
I wasn't going to.
So I'm laughing because I know the answer is that she wasn't going to, but maybe she will. I don't know. Will she? Did you want to get your hair wet, or do you know?
I didn't really want to get my hair wet. But I will. I mean, I could do like a gentle swim. I normally do front crawl,
Yep.
freestyle is mine, and I have used every toy imaginable
Oh my gosh, yes.
for swimming in the swim spa. I've done a lot of training in here. My favorite is to use a swim snorkel for sure, and I like the Finis with the high snorkel.
Yep. Before you pause there, say
Yep.
hi to Mike Leahy.
Hi, Mike. It was really great seeing you last week. And I also really like the pull buoy. But the fins do work well. If I can recommend only one thing about the fins is to get the shorter. They have, I might be able to show them. They have shorter fins because if you get the really long fins like that look kind of like snorkel fin or snorkeling fins, you might be kicking the steps.
Yep.
So they have, I actually think it's Finis that makes them. They make a shorter fin.
Ours all over here, or are
Yeah,
they?
everything's there.
Here, take this off.
Except I don't think the swim snorkel's here.
Right, that's in my
Yeah.
house.
And here, I'll switch. Stephanie, and I do like swimming with the fins, but I will say that the pull buoy with the snorkel is my favorite because then all I'm focusing on is my stroke, and I don't have to, worry too much about my breathing. I also use the paddles. Paddles work really well in here. Oh, yep, here we go.
It looks like a child's fin.
Yes, so those are the fins. They're not the long fins. Those are some pull buoys. We've got the kickboard and the Those are the paddles.
Remember this thing?
Oh, that also, we've also done,
It's terrible.
yes, those are for your ankles. They keep, sometimes you want to focus more on stroke and keeping your legs up without the pull buoy. You can use it. That's what happened to the row bar. Bars out. This is like, it is similar to using a band around your legs, around your feet when you're swimming for training.
So you hold out.
But that is what that is.
So this, you put your ankles in there, and it doesn't allow any scissoring.
Right.
So it requires a much more significant core engagement for swimming. This thing was literally made by the devil himself. It is the worst and hardest thing I've ever tried in a swim spot. You're fired. My
Goggles. Oh, those are paddles. Yeah, I do like those. Those are fun to swim with.
How do you go like this? Which way is it?
The thumb goes where the thumb, yeah. Ben, do you know if the Gecko Pack's default setting is 2 hours twice a day?
You know what? I don't know off the top of my head because this is a Challenger, so we have Balboa on here. It probably is. But I don't know off the top of my
Carol,
head.
we can check that and we'll answer you later on if no one answers ahead of that. Pull buoy.
Pull buoy. How this works, not to be graphic or anything, these are two, one's Mary's, one's mine. This, pinch it right in between your legs, and what it's going to do is, you guys remember in the beginning, swimming, in a swim spa, that water is slowing down by the time it gets to your feet, so it's not the same as swimming in a pool, and this is going to raise your back half up. Great tool for strengthening the muscles to swim well in a swim spa. Great tool.
Yeah. Someone commented that yes, it is 2 hours.
Okay.
Virginia, I will do my swims for a variety of time, anywhere from 15 minutes just for a little, shakeout swim to an hour and a half, depending on what I'm training for.
Can I see this? You gotta see this.
Yes.
Look at the dog. He's look. He's literally climbing on.
Oh my.
Captain, give him a kiss. Well, there you have it. Oh, and then you got this, the kickboard. I'll let Mary show that.
Yeah. Oh, so you
right.
can use this for many
Oh,
things.
all different things. I love the kickboard. Love it a lot.
Yeah.
Love the kick drills with the kickboard. That's my favorite thing to do with it, is just hold on to the kickboard and kick with your feet against the swim spot turned on nice and low. Absolutely. All right. Mike Leahy, we have had a couple of posts in the MS group asking about swim accessories. You know what, Mike? I would have piped in on that. I didn't even see that. I'm sorry. But tag me in it and we can talk about all that. And we have all that stuff to show them. So it's always easy to do. Maybe that would be an actual fitting.
Yeah.
That's a good idea for a live. So we'll do a live. We'll bring all the swim toys and we'll demonstrate how to use them. We haven't done that in a long, long time. That's probably good for a good update. Mike, good idea. You get the credit on that one, buddy. How long do you swim? I'll check out. Thank you. Yes, 2 hours default. Thank you. Mike answered. You can get soft web gloves too. You know what? I've tried those soft web gloves. They work pretty well. It actually works well. We got them. Lucienne, Captain's a good boy and friendly. Let's see. And foam dumbbells. So you know what? I'm going to show this. That would be great. Mike wants to do that. Okay, that's done. That's the next one, Mike. I think that's a great idea.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So these are, that's our toy box. So Mary, you want to hold those so we can see the difference? It's a lot of Master Spa blue here. Everybody see that? So that one on that one is the original one, and the supplier just can't get them to us anymore. They are honestly the best. They really are awesome. I rehabbed a torn bicep with that. Next best is this guy here, and all we're trying to do is catch water. So I don't really love the foam ones, but I love the ones that catch water. I just think that they work better. The slower you go, the easier it is. The faster you go, the harder it is, okay? All right, so.
This was if you had an older
Right.
exercise kit from Master Spas, it came directly with your swim spa.
Yep.
This one is from Amazon, and they actually have a few different sets. They work really well.
Yep.
You want, like Ben said, I mean, of course, you would always use the foam ones. That is
Sure.
more than fine. But if you're looking for a little bit harder resistance, the ones that catch the water,
Yep.
these have like almost paddles in them, and they work really well for giving you a little bit more resistance.
Yep. And then the thing that I like about this kit, even a little better, is that it comes with the barbell,
Yeah.
which you can see there's one on each end, which that I
But
never.
don't give away all of our secrets. We're going to do this in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, shush. All right. Okay, I think we're good. 4:45, we're good.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we're
So
out of here.
I think 2 weeks is the 23rd, I think. I was counting on my fingers before, and I think that's what it is.
23rd. I'm gonna go with that.
Yep.
Today's the
So
9th.
Wednesday, the 23rd, we will be back, and it seems like we might be talking about
Swim toys.
swim toys, swim spa toys.
You know what? We'll bring every one of them
That we have, yeah.
every single swim toy, and we'll demonstrate and talk about
And if
them.
anyone has anything that you think we don't have and you want to just comment on it, please do.
Actually, you know what? There's time. If you have something that you don't think we have, send it in now, because
Yeah.
we could probably get it in time to have
Absolutely,
it
yeah.
on here,
Yep.
and then show it if there's something you're not sure of. So send the message to right to the inbox at Master Spas on Facebook,
And they'll-
and just
yeah.
put on the top, Ben and Mary right on the top, and they'll find its way to us. Okay, pre-Turkey Day workout. That's right.
Oh, good idea.
Oh, there's that. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
day.
that's the day before Thanksgiving. All right.
I think we're doing it that day. We're doing it that day. I think we are. I think we are now.
don't know.
I think we are now. Awesome, guys.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks. That's it. If you have any more questions, pop on there tonight, and we'll get all over the questions tonight and get you all straightened out. All right. Everyone's just blasting off their swim toys. Easy, everybody. Save it for 2 weeks. All right. All right.
Bye,
we'll
guys.
see you.
Have a
Be
good
good.
night.
Where's the finish? There it is.